Okay, so bought a plasma cutter. This is just kind of a cheap one. It had good reviews, so see what it does. It's a Herocut Cut55DP or something like that. It was 250 bucks after tax. I got it with a 110 and a 220 volt thing. Had like 1,200 reviews on Amazon. It's like 4.5 stars and stuff. People are saying it's a pretty decent little plasma cutter, I guess. It doesn't have a pump in it. It needs a compressor. People are saying it needs kind of like at least a 20-gallon compressor. I don't really know if it does or not, but I think the one I have, or my dad has, is a 50-gallon. They're saying on the 110 setting, it'll cut 3/8 steel. I don't really know about that, but I just took it up to 220. But yeah, we'll see how this goes. It's not super big. That's a 110 volt welder there, and there's the cutter. So that's kind of nice, because then you got more room. But yeah, we'll see how it does, I guess. So in here, there's the 220 volt connection and stuff. I'll probably test it with both, but I think I'm always just gonna run it on a 220 plug for now. This here, airline or something. I've never bought a plasma cutter before, so yeah. Ground wire. And let's see. This just looks like a bunch of connections or something to hook it up to your compressor or something. And then in here, you got all your stuff, gun or whatever it's called. I don't know how long this whip or whatever here is. Probably, I don't know, 10 feet maybe? I don't know how long it is, I'd have to check. And here's your book. So I'm gonna take all this apart, set it up, and see what it does, I guess. I don't know what's in this box. I'm gonna get this out. Looks like a clamp or something. A guide or something. Don't really know what this is either. Pneumatic component. Let's see if there's anything else in this box. Yeah, so I'll set it up, and oh, it comes with, it looks like Teflon there. So yeah, see how it goes. I think it's gonna work pretty good. So in this book, it's got a checklist. In this book, it's got like a checklist thing. Okay, so this book here, they tell you what voltage it is and material and stuff and the amps and all that to cut the metal. So just steel on 220 at 55 amps, 60 PSI, that's 14 millimeters. I don't know how thick that is, but here's a socket. So I don't know, ½ inch maybe? I don't know. But then on 110, it's got all that stuff there, and yeah, just a bunch of stuff. And then it's got a checklist here to make sure you got all your stuff. So just a few things as I'm setting this up. The air and the cut thing, the air is kind of, so you click this and it'll switch stuff or something. The air function or whatever is just to make sure air's coming in it and building or something, I don't know. And then cut is just what you use to cut, and cut stuff. And these two switches here, the PT, that's the post time thing. So if you can, I guess you can adjust that or something, and that'll just let air flow through the torch to cool it down or something like that. And then 2T, you press it to get it to go, you know, work, I guess, and then you release it and it won't work. And then 4T, press it for it to work, release it, and it'll still work. I don't know. This manual's, the first little bit is okay, or well, it's actually fine. I can read it just fine. This next part, setting it up and stuff, is, I don't know. It's kind of hard to read a little bit, but yeah. And then OC right there, that's kind of just a light that comes on if something's screwed up, and then 110 will come on if only 110 volts are coming through, and then work, that's just if the light, you know, if you're using it, that light should come on, and then 220, yeah, all that. So this is really all that's put in the manual for the setup. This is kind of just telling you how to use it and stuff like that. But here's your air regulator, or just, you know, a regulator. So you pull it up and you can turn it. Turning it clockwise increases the pressure, and that gauge up on the front of it just tells you what pressure to set it at and stuff. And then there's a little arrow on here. There's two arrows, so there's this one and this other one that points in the other direction. So your air out would be on this side, and your air in would be on this side, and that's just a water filter stuff like that. And then you just reduce the pressure by pulling that up and turning it counterclockwise, and then it just locks in place by pushing it down. Then on this page, it's just really a picture of how to set it up. So you'll have, it comes with all these fittings and stuff, so yeah, I'll have to set that up. But not really seeing an arrow or anything, but I think this port here with that arrow and that dot circles up into the line in there. There's this line here, and then the inlet is this port here, and they've all got plugs in them right now. And then that's the compressor side. So not really sure what this here is for. I think there's something to mount it or something. That's actually, yeah, that's what this bracket's for. I'm stupid. Yeah, so it sets in there like this, and then your regulator just sits in there. So yeah, okay, so I got this regulator bolted in. There's a little notch on this mount here, and then this little nut thing you just tighten up by hand. I have it oriented with the arrow like that. I think yeah, there's other notches, so you can orient it a whole bunch of different ways, but I'm gonna just set it up like that. And yeah, I'll have to put the stuff in, set that up. I'm not really sure what this line's for. There's not any markings on it. Yeah, we'll see. Okay, so I got this line hooked up. Not sure if it's hooked in right, because this line went up in there just fine, and it's clear through there. It doesn't really seem to want to come back out, but you don't gotta tighten this up very much. It's plastic in there, and then there's a little brass fitting here. Not sure how well that's gonna seal, but you don't need to tighten this up. It'll just strip the threads. I mean, tighten it, you know, but probably not very much more than finger tight. So for these connections here, they're kind of like, just looking at them and looking at the book, you can figure out what they are pretty easy. Like, this is for, you know, the air compressor side, all that. I'm not sure what these things here are for. It's got a tiny little hole in there. It's blurry, you can't really see it. And then the head's really weird. Not sure what those are for, but they give you this Teflon these clamps for this line, which they give you a lot of this line here. There's one of the connectors in there, but you only needed to run it from there and there, and they give you probably, I don't know, a few feet of it, and really you probably only need 6 inches, so it's kind of nice to have extra line. But I don't really know how well this line and these fittings and stuff are all gonna hold up. The box said it was made in China, so we'll see. So right here kind of gives you an idea of what you need for your compressor, what size you need. Is the air pressure is preset 4.5 psi and requires a flow rate of 6 CFM. And you know, they say you should probably go a little bit higher than that. If you're gonna use it slower and everything, then go to 1.5 to 2 times the size or flow rate or something. And then I got this line mounted here and just put Teflon the connections here and use their clamps. It's probably better to get some different connections and clamps and stuff, but I'm gonna just try this for now, see how it goes. This here is how you hook up your ground. There's a notch in there, one here. You just slide it in, turn it till it stops, and it won't come out. That there is for a switch. I'm not really sure what it's for. There's an on-off switch on the back. It's probably just to get it to cut or something, I don't know. And then there's your arc or something. And then there's a plug on this here for your torch. So this thing, as of so far, it's pretty easy to set up and stuff. But yeah, see how it works. Okay, so I got everything on the front hooked up. There's this red wire coming off the thing there. You just hook that in there and the switch thing goes in here. There's a notch in there too, so you can't mess it up. This here for the torch itself, let me see if I can get it off. There's no seal or anything on there. Both the threads are brass or something, so it should seal better. But there's no O-ring or anything in there, so I think you put Teflon on that too. I don't really know though, but yeah, there's nothing in there for it. And then there's nothing on the threads there, so I think you throw Teflon on this. I'll have to look it up or something first though, because I've never set up a plasma cutter. I don't know what you do and you're not supposed to do. So yeah, I'm dumb. I forgot that brass seals good. Like on a torch, you don't need Teflon, so just tighten it up, it's fine. Yeah, I think I don't know what the point of these are. They have a small little hole in them, but these here, I really don't know what they're for, because they're just like a plug for something. I don't know why they're there. And they didn't come, like nothing was in them, or they didn't go into anything when I got it, and the book doesn't really say anything about them. It's got a picture in here with them. Let's see. Yeah, right in there. But I don't know what they're there for. Kind of weird. Forgot to mention that it does come with a wrench, but if you got a few end wrenches and a socket or something, well, you could even just put it together with end wrenches. You'll be just fine. And honestly, if you're buying a plasma cutter, you probably have tools already. Okay, everything's hooked up. I got the line off for now, but I had some leaks back here, but I fixed it. I just didn't put the Teflon on right. Yeah, everything's ready to go. I'm gonna give it a test fire. For what you get, this is a pretty freaking good plasma cutter. I was just running it on 110 for now because the plug over there for the 220 isn't really, it's not the right plug on the wall. But let's see. On 30 amps, it was cutting 3/16 steel just fine on 110 at 30 psi. And let's see here. Look at this cut here. And I wasn't trying to, make straight good lines and stuff, but that is a pretty good cut right there. Like a grinder would easily clean that off right there, that extra slag or whatever it's called. but that's a pretty good cut for a $250 plasma cutter. And it was cut, that's 3/16 steel. It's cutting it just fine. The only thing right now is that it's flipping the breaker because it's drawing so much power. But I think 220 will probably fix that or something. I don't know. I'm not an electrician. But yeah, for $250, this is a really good plasma cutter. Alright, so it's hooked up to 220 now. So far I've cut 3/16 steel with it. It hasn't blown a breaker like it did on 110. Yeah, it does really good for being a $250 plasma cutter. And it fits in a Harbor Freight welding cart. So, yeah, I like it. Figured out what all this crap's for. It's just replacement parts for the cutter. So, yeah.